Hi everyone, welcome to Bioorganic Chemistry course. Before we move into the contents of this course, it's important to understand what is bioorganic chemistry and how it is different from other related fields in chemical and biological sciences. If you look into some of the most important and interconnected fields are organic chemistry, biochemistry, bioorganic chemistry, and chemical biology. Organic chemistry is a foundation studying all carbon containing compounds and their reactions, whereas biochemistry deals with the chemistry of life. It explains the biological processes using chemical principles. Whereas bioorganic chemistry is an interdisciplinary science at the intersection of organic chemistry and biochemistry. The most recent chemical biology, which uses chemical tools or molecules to study and manipulate living organisms and systems. While all these fields share some common principles in studying carbon based molecules and biological systems, each of these fields brings a unique perspective and methodology to understand the life at molecular level. Let's look at organic chemistry, which is a branch of chemistry that studies the structure, properties, composition, reactions, and preparation of carbon containing compounds. However, its scope is really broad, particularly due to the ability of carbon to form diverse and stable molecular structure. Some of the core focus area of organic chemistry, of course, is not limited to the list presented here, includes structure and properties of carbon compounds, reactivity and reaction mechanism, synthesis of new compounds. However, the key distinction of organic chemistry is that organic chemistry is not limited to molecules present in the biological system. It also includes creating new molecules and materials, flavors, and industrial compounds that do not exist in the nature as well. An important point to note that simple carbon compounds such as carbon dioxide and metallic carbonates are not classified as organic, instead they are termed as inorganic molecules. The scope of organic chemistry is really broad, as I said. Organic compounds form the basis of all life on the earth and constitute the majority of known chemicals on the earth. The impact of field can be seen in everyday life, including medicine, pharmaceuticals, materials, polymers, agriculture, energy, and petrochemicals. Biochemistry, which is the chemistry of life, bridges biology and chemistry. So, it explores the chemical processes within living organisms. It focuses on understanding life at molecular level, investigating how components in living matter interact to sustain life. If you look at the areas that typically covered in biochemistry includes proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, and carbohydrates. The core concepts in biochemistry is understanding the metabolism, the chemical reactions providing energy, and building complex molecules necessary for life. Enzymology, studying enzymes as biological catalysts, how they regulate reaction and reaction kinetics and efficiency in a biological system and biochemical reaction. Molecular genetics, molecular understanding of gene expression and regulation. Therefore, biochemistry provides the foundation for understanding human health and disease, from clinical diagnostics to develop new drugs and therapies. The impact of biochemistry is really wide: medicine and healthcare, biotechnology, forensic science, nutrition, food science. I can say that biochemistry provides the tools and knowledge to uncover the fundamental workings of life and apply this knowledge across science and industry. Now, we have looked into organic chemistry briefly, biochemistry briefly. The field that intersect these two is bioorganic chemistry, a field that applies organic chemistry principles and techniques to study biological processes at the molecular level. So we study the biological molecules, the molecules that are present in biological system, look at the chemistry way and chemical nature of this, and understand the concept of chemistry, understand the concept of chemistry to understand the biological processes. This is what distinguishes it from biochemistry and organic chemistry itself, but however, they have huge overlap. So, what are the core concepts in bioorganic chemistry? We can look into some of the topics such as enzyme mechanisms, investigating how enzymes function as a biological catalyst, molecular interaction, how host-guest interaction work, what is the chemical basis of this, and by understanding these chemical interactions in a biological system, we can mimic them in synthetic materials such as biomimetic chemistry, mimicking the biological system in synthetic materials or molecules that work very similarly as biological catalyst. And drug discovery by understanding the host guest interactions, ligand protein interaction, or ligand receptor interaction, we can design a new drugs as agonist or antagonist for this. The latest field which has been emerging over the past couple of decades is chemical biology. What chemical biology applies is chemistry principle and techniques and tools to study and manipulate biological system. Unlike biochemistry, the focus here is using small molecules which are synthetic to actively perturb and understand biological processes. Unlike bioorganic chemistry, where we look at biological molecules, understand the chemistry behind its working principle, here we make new molecules to perturb the biological processes. It involves design of chemical tools, probing living systems, understanding the mechanism, and manipulating and control certain pathways or biological pathways. So, chemical biology also has a huge scope in drug discovery, development, chemical genetics, synthetic biology, proteomics, neuroscience, immunology. So, now we have briefly looked at all four fields. So, it's important to understand how they are related. They exist on a continuum flowing from a broad chemistry towards applying chemistry to understand and engineer life. Organic chemistry, as I said, all carbon containing compounds, general synthesis reactions, biochemistry, life's molecules, understanding metabolic pathways, bioorganic chemistry, which deals with the chemical study of biological molecules and structures. Chemical biology, on the other hand, utilizes chemistry tools or molecules to manipulate and understand biology. Important to note here is that all these fields have huge overlap and terms can be used differently by different researchers. The boundaries are very fluid, reflecting the interdisciplinary nature of modern molecular sciences. And I hope you got some understanding how these fields are different or distinct and how they are interacted. And I welcome you all to the course and looking forward to discuss with you.